in the lab, you have access to this primordial ooze. You have a bunch of chemicals that you can synthesize or collect, but we haven't, as far as I'm aware, created something that everybody would agree is artificial life in a lab. So what I'm wondering is what the current status of experimentation and theorization is in this field, and where your work is fitting into it and bridging this gap.
Yeah, I mean, I never wanted to work in origin of life, actually. It's kind of weird, right? I wanted to solve life. I think it's one of the reasons that I started collaborating with Sarah, actually. It's like I found the origin of life extremely hard work because you had all these practitioners who had these requirements. And I was like, I didn't know anything. I was like, why don't I just basically put a load of chemistry in a pot, heat it up, and see what happens? So I think the major issue of the origin of life is that people have preconceived ideas. And if you say to someone, so what? Well, we'll look for the origin of life. Say, great. Okay. What is life? And if they can't adequately give you an answer, it's like, if you can't give me an answer to what life is, how can you look at the origin of it? So they might say, okay, well, look, I'm going to just take what I know on Earth, right? Just take DNA, RNA, proteins, whatever, cells. I want to look at those. I'm like, how would you know that? It's a bit like me saying, I want to look at the origin of music, but look at Sony mini disc. I'm not sure if your listeners, viewers, whatever, know what a mini disc is, right? Or a vinyl record or Spotify. But everyone knows music when they hear it. And so I found that really quite dumbfounding. And as a chemist, it's like, what is, I guess it comes down to this, can we define what life is rather than obsessing about what we think life is because we see it now? And I think that's something we're starting to crack. So I that's one of the reasons I'm not an origin of life researcher. I'm characterized as origin of life researcher. I've debated with religious creationist calls me an origin of life researcher. I beg your pardon. I'm just a chemist who wants to know how sand turned into cells, and I believe, and it's becoming beyond a belief, because for me, belief is something I do not have proof for. I'm not, as I have a lot of religious friends I talk to, and they're like, and people I talk to are not religious. Say, how dare you debate religious people? I'm like, no. Science is here, religion is here. They do this. They never touch, but they get very close together. And that getting close together is actually quite useful. So I think that people do not understand what life is. They are they anthropomorphize too much. They put too much weight on what they know, and they don't think generally enough. And I think that is very frustrating. And then ever since I was like, as long as I can remember, I didn't care about any of the fluff. I just want to know, what is the mechanism by which sand becomes cells? You can discuss the other stuff, Byron, whatever, Halloween, Christmas, whatever cultural manifestations. What is the process that turns dead stuff into living stuff?